Hello, and welcome to the I Love You But podcast. I'm Heather, and this is my sister.
Ryan. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhood using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us.
Sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but.
There it is.
Whoa! Yay!
Okay, let's banter. Since this is a podcast about how we wasted our childhoods, I was thinking maybe we could talk about how we wasted time just, like this week.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, yesterday I left work early to go get my driver's license renewed and my car registration renewed and my oil changed. But instead I went home and watched the first episode of the new season of Outer Banks and took a nap. So I don't know what you have, but I think I won.
That is some peak ADD right there. That is. Tell me you have ADD without telling me you have ADD. I was going to do all these things, and instead I went home and watched a teen show and took a nap. Let's see.
Day of release. Like, it was the first day of the season release, too.
Oh, okay. So it was exciting.
Exciting. Yeah, because I've been waiting to see what happened in there to these beautiful teenagers that jumped off a boat.
I've not seen that show. Maybe some other.
I think you're good.
I watch other stuff, This week, though, I didn't really watch a whole lot of TVs or TVs. I didn't watch multiple TVs. I didn't really watch
multiple TVs at once.
Didn't watch any shows. I did waste a lot of time on a new podcast. It's from
this
BBC 4. No, I didn't prepare for this one at all. So don't worry there.
Okay,
minimal.
Good. Me neither.
Minimal time. No, it's what's it called? Like spooky or I don't even remember. It's bad. It's like a ghost show, but like people tell eerie. I don't remember. This is very embarrassing.
Not the Lockwood and Co. one.
No. Like it's a podcast. Like it's a true story. Like people come on and tell like their ghost stories or their time slip stories or their UFO stories, which of course I love all that crap. So I was like very engaged in it. And then super disappointed because they had like one season and a whole bunch of specials. And then they're like, and in 2023 more. And I'm like, it's 2023 now. How are there not 500 people just lining up to tell ghost stories from a haunted little island? Like, that everyone over there has some kind of a ghost story because walking all around them is all of this history. Whereas, here it's like, well, I'm at a mall.
It's only people on one island? Wait.
Oh, well, no, actually, it's all the islands. So it's like they actually have people from Scotland, right? And they had some Welsh people as well.
Okay, I forgot England was an island.
You forgot England was an island.
I know it was like a little island off the coast with it's like super fucking haunted or something. And then I was like, oh wait, she means the country.
Like Jersey, just Jersey.
I mean, I think that people in Jersey definitely have some time loss stories, but I don't think it's because of ghosts or aliens.
No. I mean, the cows are good, but the Nazis were bad. So I don't think that's a good, you're definitely going to get some really weird ghosts happening when you got cows and Nazis. I don't know anything else about Jersey. Yeah. That's all I got.
Like New Jersey?
No.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, is that why they're called Jersey cows?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's where Jersey cows are from, is Jersey.
I was talking about their Jersey Shore, like New Jersey.
It's a small island off the southeast, question mark, coast of England. We have now...
This is not a geography podcast.
This is not a geography. We have now alienated any future English fans. of this. Maybe the French will like us. Listen, French people, although we don't really know anything about France either. So I don't know what to tell you. We speak English. Okay. We have master's degrees. They're not in geography.
No, I have two, and I'm a teacher. This is sad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I work in IT. I don't have to know anything. Okay, I feel like that was an appropriate amount. Did you have something else? I'm sorry.
No.
Would you like to share with the pod? You're good? Okay.
I'm good. Let's move on.
Okay, so the premise is we're going to rewatch garbage that we watched as children and maybe talk a little bit about what we remember about it, and then talk about how we feel about it now. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of cringiness and other things that are highly embarrassing and hopefully enjoyable for the few people that are listening, mostly us, and probably me when I'm just editing this over and over and over. So do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I think you should start, because I think yours is worse.
Okay. I have a lot to say. So there is that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. First, don't think about what you just saw, because I know you just watched it. This week, I'm going to talk about the Dukes of Hazzard. And I would like to know first, what are some things you remember about the television show, The Dukes of Hazzard?
Okay, so I don't really remember watching it. I know that you say we did, but I feel like you were more into that show than I was as the older sibling. Sure. Like, I feel like moms told stories about you being like Duke or something. I don't know. Like you were in love with Bo Duke or something. I may have made that up. I, of course, instantly think of Daisy Duke in her tiny little shorts. Like, and then the other major thing that comes to mind is, of course, the super famous, like, getting in the car, sliding across the hood, which totally think of your high school boyfriend, Charlie, who also got into his car that way, though his car doors were not sealed shut. He was just a douchebag.
He didn't always get into the car that way.
Every time I saw him get in or out of his car, it was through the window.
He must have just really thought that was funny for you, because I am almost certain he actually used the door.
Mm-hmm.
Almost certain.
Okay, he also stole all of our spoons, but okay. Okay,
that's it. We don't need to go into that. Nobody wants to hear it. They just want to hear our brilliant commentary on the long-running and then syndicated television show Dukes of Hazzard. So what else? What else do you remember?
Okay, I don't know if I should bring this up now, but I should. I think I should. So you know how, like, all of our technology is listening to us?
Sure.
So I, just before we started recording this, Facebook showed me an article that one of the actors' wives just died. So yeah, they've only been married since 2019. So they've been married since 2019. So it's probably not his first wife, but still sad. So I think it was the blonde one. But yeah. So
yeah.
No, it's coincidental.
I'm not laughing. That would be very mean. I'm sorry, sir, that your wife of 4 years died, and also any past
never hear about this podcast.
Be careful what you do searches on and listen to, because Facebook will get you. Okay, so here's some things I remember about Dukes of Hazzard. I remember that I thought one of them was really cute. I know which one I think is cute now. I do not remember which one I thought was cute then. I remember really, really liking the show. I don't know why. I do remember Daisy Dukes, of course. And I remember seeing an episode in syndication, like around the time that OJ was like driving on the LA freeway and stuff. So like 90s, whatever. So I was in high school, and I remember we watched
the one famous time he did it, or like just sometime when he
the really famous time he did it.
Oh, the really famous time he did it. Okay.
Yeah, that time. It was I remember there was like, I think it was the summertime, and we would always go to like David's house and like play board games and stuff. But like the TV would be on in the background because board games or whatever. And one time Dukes of Hazzard was on, and another time the OJ chase was on. But the time with the Dukes of Hazards, I recognized the blocking, because I had been in theater then, and I knew about blocking, and I noticed that Daisy Duke was either standing or sitting in every scene. She didn't go back and forth, and I assume it's because those shorts were so tight. It was not necessarily physiologically possible for her to sit and then stand and sit and then stand. I mean, I think she really was just sort of, I'm either here or I'm here, and I'm like a Barbie, and I'm not doing both.
It was like a girdle with nothing over it.
Yeah, it was interesting. So but the episode we watched this time, I did not see that, so I can't say whether I made that up either. But that's what I remember. So okay, for those of you who don't know,
that like awesome kick scene in the. Can I say that? Can I do that now?
Well, you can. We're going to talk about just hold on. We'll talk about the kick scene. For those of you who aren't old and or white, Dukes of Hazzard is a single camera action comedy series that aired on CBS from 1979 to 1980. Single camera, yeah. Do you know the difference?
I mean, I know the difference between the word single and multiple.
So most movies are single camera, right? But most TV shows are 3 camera. So probably I would guess Three's Company was 3 camera. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And Dukes of Hazzard is a single camera. We'll talk more later. I'll give you a tutorial. Dukes of Hazzard ran 147 episodes over 7 seasons. And the basic premise, cousins, Bo and Luke Duke.
They're brothers?
No, they're cousins. And their other cousin is Daisy. Yeah, I thought they were brothers too. They're not.
Sister?
I don't know. I know that the one guy is not their uncle. Well, he is their uncle, but not the other uncle. It's unclear. They live in rural Georgia, and they are on probation for moonshine running. And based on what I could see, they primarily just like driving cars really fast and taunting the local sheriff's office, which is entertaining in some ways, but we can get into that later. So Dukes of Hazzard, the episode specifically that we watched was called The Ghost of the General Lee. I chose it because it was the second highest rated of all of the episodes, so I thought it might be worth watching. Yep, 8.0. There was one a later episode that was an 8.1, but I thought earlier would probably be better to really get the heart of the show.
Based on how many ratings?
It's out of 10.
No, but like how many people?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look at that. I don't know what the Amazon N is.
It's not like an Amazon product where you can be like, it's like.
I do know that I was then looking at Poker Face, and their first episode was only like 8.5, and I was like, who is because if Poker Face is 8.5, then The Ghost of the General Lee should be about a 2. So not sure what's going on there, but don't trust IMDb ratings. That's all I'm going to say. All right, The Ghost of the General Lee. So I guess in this episode, it's kind of there's a lot going on. There are some.
Is there?
It starts off with a chase. The Duke cousins, I guess, are they put in some new fast something in their engine that I don't remember the name of, and they're testing it out, and they're going 95. Did not look like 95, but they're going 95, so they tell us, because there's a narrator. Which must be the only reason it had a running time of 49 minutes, because I don't know who needed a narrator for what was happening, but there was a lot.
So this is interesting, right? So like, I don't know if you listened to the words of the theme song.
I didn't, but it liked me.
That I did. So at the end, it's like something like 2 modern day Robin Hood. So like fighting the system like 2 modern day Robin Hood.
Okay.
So and then the narrator's voice also. So I'm wondering if it's like a Robin Hood kind of thing, because Robin Hood had that narrator. The Disney Robin Hood had that narrator. You don't remember that? Okay.
No, I remember that. I really don't think that's why there's a narrator.
No,
though.
I'm trying to find more meaning, like a deeper meaning in this show than what's actually there.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
we should definitely circle back to the Robin Hood narrative because I think there's some other things going on, but yeah. Okay, so this episode,
It's two boys trying to do the best they could.
the two boys doing something. So I wrote some notes here. This episode has everything: ghosts, skinny dipping, a theremin, car chases, fat phobia, sexism, nationalism, racism, and one black man. Um, and a deranged poor man's Tom Selleck. Also, there was that. So I don't know if that's worth watching, but those were some notes that I made. Some other notes. I was really concerned about why they were giggling so much when they were skinny dipping.
Yeah.
There was some splashing when they skinny dipped again at the end, and there was some splashing happening there, which seemed a little more legit, but there was a lot of giggling going on in that first skinny dipping scene, and I was just, I don't know. Also, this show has a character called Cooter, and I think this is probably a great time for you, younger sibling, to tell the story of our friend Jenny's days as a camp counselor. Do you remember this one?
I do remember this one.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, I will say I had trouble watching this episode and paying attention to it, and I didn't even finish it. Like, I texted you and said, "Do I have to?" And you told me I didn't, which was really kind of you. It perked my ears up when they were like, "This looks like the Cooter's work." I was like, "What? Oh, okay." But anyway, so yes. So our friend, remember Jenny's last name. Well, now
it's okay. We don't do that. It's a podcast. No. You just say Jenny.
Oh, we don't do that. Our friend Jenny. Grew up in Georgia, and she would go be a camp counselor at this hoity-toity camp somewhere a little further north. And she was talking about they had to get there early and unpack the trunks of the campers. So the parents would send the trunks ahead, and the camp counselors had to unpack these kids' campers' trunks for them. And her and then this other male Georgian with a real thick Georgia accent were unpacking trunks, and he was like, "I just don't know about these kids. Like, one of them had a pair of pants and it said Juicy Cooter on the back of them."
That makes me laugh every time. So good.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of parent would let their child wear Juicy Cooter pants?
What kind of kid has their shit unpacked for them? Like, I can't even deal with those kids. I would have pushed them all into the lake. Like, it would have been bad. Not murder, just, push them in the lake. So
and then help them back out.
Yeah, I would. Unlike in this, where it's like, I swam a little and I can't get them. Oh no, they're dead. Like that. I don't know. A lot
and their
going
clothes
on.
Came off.
I did appreciate the narrator's line, "The Duke boys done gone in the pond." That was
good.
That was pretty good. I did wonder if this is just car porn. I mean, it really felt like it. Boss Hogg. Hey, Boss Hogg. I kind of remember Boss Hogg. It's a great name. When I first saw him on the show, I didn't really remember a lot about him, and all I could think was, that's a lot of ass. Hogg has a lot of ass.
Like, I'm also and literally.
Yeah, but I don't really understand why he has a barber chair in his back office.
Right? Same question.
Where there's a pool table and a safe.
And a safe, yeah. I don't know. But like that big brown glass ashtray that I'm pretty sure our grandparents had too.
Yeah. And like 4 versions of the dogs playing poker on the wall. Like, one isn't enough. That. You gotta have like 4. It could have been other animals. I don't have the biggest TV, but there was some stuff going on. I do like the Boss Hogg, I believe, was the one who called them the Duke cousins pure, clean American stock. Just in case you thought that the show wasn't racist. It is.
In case you didn't pick up on that when the car horn played Dixie, or the fact that there's a Confederate flag on the roof of the car.
Well, yeah. Any of that. I did make a note that John Schneider can get it. So again, I don't know who I liked when I was younger, but I can tell you who I like now. He had a nice, sweet little smile.
Was it the blonde one?
The blonde.
I feel like it was the blonde one when you were a kid too.
I mean, he's very cute. He's got
Have
some charm.
Have you seen any of his Hallmark movies? Have you seen any of his recent work?
I haven't. I'm sure that I would enjoy it. I'm sure he is still charming.
Well, he's single now too.
Oh no! Don't do that. His wife just died. What is wrong with you? Also, I was like 4 when this show was airing.
What? You said that he's the one you like now too. You know,
he's like old enough to be on a television show as an adult of some variety. I was a child. No, thank you. Okay. I have too many notes, but I'm just gonna start going through them. Okay, so I wondered, when they went to go visit Daisy May or Bessie Who or whoever it was, this other random blonde,
Coochie Coo.
And her mom told her to get in the house, and she was cleaning the windows, so she crawled in through the window.
Yeah.
And I just made a note, are we using doors too often? I mean, maybe we missed it and we're supposed to be going in through windows much more often than we are.
Naked men. Please tell me you're going to talk about their line after that scene. Exchange after that scene.
I really didn't make a note of that. I felt like that was more of a Three's Company line.
Their wounded manhood, because no one cared that they were naked.
Yeah. But I was wondering why this was the second highest rated episode. And later, when they steal the clothes off the scarecrow, I can't help but think that maybe it was everybody hoping that there would be a wardrobe malfunction with Luke.
I was definitely hoping to see some butt.
He was wearing a not very long white shirt that I hope he had some privacy material underneath for the shooting, because that was compelling television, I can tell you that much. There's a Mona Lisa print in that bar, whatever it was called.
The boar, something with a boar, right?
The boar something. And then that Mona Lisa print, right next to it is a feral hog trophy.
It's not a javelina?
I think it might have been a boar. I mean, the place is called the Boar something, so maybe it was a boar.
Something. Yeah. Boar roast or nest or something.
I don't know. There was a lot of really bad acting. The reaction time on the show is very weird. The jokes were not funny. No. I was really glad that Daisy got to wear a dress at one point so that she could actually sit down. That was nice.
Yeah, to the wake. She didn't have to wear booty shorts to her.
Yeah, that was like the wake was the same day, and they were carrying around an empty pitcher that they kept saying, "Give me more of this." I was like, "More of what?" There's nothing in that pitcher, but whatever. We did have, after Daisy fainted, we had the wonderful, you know how women are, but what do I expect? Yeah. It's the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
At one point,
one of the red hat that Uncle Jesse was wearing.
I'm real confused about Uncle Jesse, because that man does not have a Georgia accent at all.
No.
He was very clearly the best actor among the cast.
Yeah, I feel like he's been in other things. Like,
surely.
Like he was definitely in other stuff. Like, he looked familiar. Yeah. But he's definitely played Santa.
Well, and it was one of those, like, the credits are like blah blah and blah blah, and then it's like, and da 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 is this, and da 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 is this, and da da da. So it's very like character driven, like you know what you're going to get in every single episode because these are like characters, not like real people. So that was the whole thing. At some point, somebody saying,
"He was in Pete's Dragon." I think he was the old dude in Pete's Dragon.
IMDb could tell you. Maybe he had a Georgia accent in Pete's Dragon.
No, because they were in like Nantucket or something.
So he has a Nantucket accent.
I don't think he does accent.
My brain started to get weird. We'll get there soon. Camptown Races. Somebody was singing that at some point. I really started to wonder what kind of auto insurance the Hazard County Sheriff's Office has, because
I was wondering what the budget of the show was.
The number of cars they flipped and crashed, and I don't know. It started making me think about Paw Patrol. Like, who's paying for all of this? there was a scene where the sheriff ordered a lot of food, which is whatever. But one of the items was extra thick chocolate milk. Oh. And I don't know if anyone is listening and they can tell me what that is, but is that like half shake? Thing? Like what makes it extra? Is there an egg in it? Like how is it extra thick? Does it just mean whole? I'm very confused. I will say that around that point, I really felt like I'd rather just be watching Blazing Saddles or even Smokey and the Bandit or Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Like any of those things would have been.
Or Oh Brother. We're Out Though.
Yeah, Brother, We're Out Though. Like there's so many things that I could have been watching that were not this bad that I would have gotten the same amount of, similar joy. People sticking it to the man. And then I started thinking, because my brain is weird, I was thinking about what the characters in Crash, not the stupid we're racist so we're bad and we feel better because we can admit we're racist, but the sexy Crash, the Cronenberg Crash based on the novel by the guy. If they were in the world of Dukes of Hazzard, would they just be turned on all the time because of all of the car crashes that were going on? Like, maybe.
Well, I mean, because what did you say, like car porn or whatever, like muffled?
Yeah, I mean it's car porn, but then they, the people in Crash get off when cars crash. So like, there's a whole lot of cars crashing. Another point, I really started thinking about the locations because it was clearly not Georgia. It's very brown, and that is very California. So I did check, and yes, the first 3 episodes they filmed in Georgia, and then after that they were like, we can just do it on the lot and out here in the canyons in California. Nobody knows the difference.
No one's watching this show for authenticity.
I can tell you though that we're not in Georgia. And another question. And when I did look that up, I did see that apparently, I think it was in season 5, apparently, they had to introduce Joy and Vance or something. Maybe I'm confusing that with that musician. But they had to bring in 2 new actors to replace Bo and Luke because the actors wanted more money.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That happened on my show too.
So good. So I don't know what that was like, but apparently they got him back for later. Other little question I had for myself: what if the General Lee is why orange is my favorite color?
Oh, see, and that's what I was going to ask you. You think having this be such a favorite show might have impacted you for the rest of your life, and you already went there?
I mean, I don't think it is. Maybe some small recessed part of my brain. There's definitely stuff we'll talk about that has impacted me, and I can see it.
I don't feel like orange was always your favorite color. I don't think as a kid orange was your favorite color.
I don't remember having a favorite color until orange was my favorite color. But that definitely happened more maybe 9th grade. Yeah. But I don't know if somewhere in the back of my mind, I don't know. I was definitely more into quote unquote boy stuff when I was younger. So I imagine that was part of it. I can't think that I actually enjoyed watching this show. I can't, it makes me really sad to think that I was like, ha ha ha. So much exposition. There was just, I feel like half the show is just exposition. I don't understand why. Just make it car crashes and skinny dipping and get over it. There was a stiletto to the rescue. I enjoyed that. When Daisy gets tied up, she swings herself around and uses that stiletto heel to call the operator.
I think Daisy's definitely the biggest badass on that show.
I could see that, especially in that episode.
Yeah. Well, and in the opening, she's got that awesome kick with the heels and steals the car.
Yeah, that's true. That was good.
Yeah. Can I tell you my favorite line from the show?
Yeah.
Something's I smell, or something like this or something, but basically smell a little shuck and jive.
Oh, nice.
For shenanigans. Yeah. Like that time we saw the movie or a song or something, and they were like, all jam, no jelly. I feel like I'm going to use this one in my daily life.
I feel like maybe you should Google it first to make sure it's not racist.
That's true.
Sounds like it might be.
I shouldn't just go to school and when a student's like, I was late because something, I shouldn't just be like, I smell a little shuck and jive going on here.
Right. I mean, at one point I wrote in here, like, Boss Hog is canceled. Boy, where it was like, he said all this stuff, and I was like, oh, he's canceled. He's definitely
Did
canceled.
you watch? I'm sure the answer is no, but did you watch the movie with Jessica Simpson?
No.
They made about. Okay, I didn't either.
I won't. I can't.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
I mean, it would definitely have better production value, I'm sure, but good. I'm good. I don't need to revisit this aspect of our childhood. I'm sad to think about how much.
Never watching again.
Never again. Okay.
Never again.
So how about you, dear sister, Ryan?
Did I cut you off early?
What? No, that was it. That's all I had.
Okay, go ahead. Is it my turn?
Yes, your turn. What did you watch?
I watched the very first episode of Three's Company. When I say Three's Company, what comes to your mind? Do a little word association.
Regal Beagle.
Oh yeah.
Don Knotts.
Yeah.
And jokes. I remember it being a funny show. I mean, I felt like it landed some jokes. And going back and watching it, I feel like it's still true. What do you remember?
Yeah, Regal Beagle. Yeah, for sure. Brown. Like, I just see like the color brown. I don't know why.
Just brown.
And the song, like I've always known.
Oh yeah.
We've been waiting for you.
I accidentally started watching like first episode of season 3.
Oh,
and it had the same theme song, but I think maybe the lyrics might have been different. I am not going to go back and check, but I feel like that might be true. But yeah. Anyway. Sorry. Tell me about, what do I need to know about Three's Company?
I also remember like a lot of sexual innuendo, and like as a kid being like, I don't think I am supposed to get this. Mm-hmm. Like I felt, and like it felt very naughty, I think, watching the show, and like it like I knew but I didn't know. It was very very tongue in cheek, I think is what the term would be. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I remember liking it. Yeah. Okay, I don't have quite as much detail because I'm not you. Sure. So when I told you I did research, I lied to you, or at least I didn't do it to the Heather Davis standard of research. But the show did air from 1977 to 1984. There was like 8 seasons because it originally aired like at a half season because I don't think they thought it was going to do very well, and then it actually did really well throughout its entire run. It was based on a British show called Man About the House, which I did not know.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then while I was reading this, I read about some other shows like All in the Family, which is also based on a British show. So the takeaway is good American shows on British shows, which I think you and I know. All the good American shows are based on British shows.
Yes,
that's the takeaway from there. So, got it. So you probably remember. So yeah, you said Don Knotts, and Don Knotts played Mr. Farley. And I thought it was like halfway through the show run, but really the Ropers only were on for 1 season. So the original, so Mr. and Mrs. Roper were only on for that first season, which was only actually like a half season. And then their last episode, like goodbye to the Ropers, then they had their own show. They got a spin-off show called The Ropers.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah, it aired like right after that. So it was like, bye, Mr. and Mrs. Roper, commercial. Oh, the Ropers. And I didn't find out what happened with that show. I don't think it lasted very long because grumpy old people, married old people can only be so funny for so long. Yeah. I think. So the premise of the show, right? So I watched the first episode. We watched the first episode. Where we meet all the characters. So you've got Janet and Chrissy, who have lost their 3rd female roommate because she is getting married, and they are waking up the morning after her wedding shower, where they also reveal that she has gone into labor and given birth. So shotgun wedding, if you will. So they're looking for a new roommate, and then they discover played by the fabulous John Ritter, in their bathtub, passed out in their bathtub when Chrissy goes to take a bath. So he gets water poured on him for like a good 3-4 minutes while the girls try to figure out who the fuck he is.
And he doesn't wake up. He doesn't
wake up at all. Like he's just chilling in the bathtub until his head goes under the water.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a lot of physical comedy, I think, mostly from John Ritter. So yeah, you know, ultimately becomes their third roommate, and the whole show is like farce. That's the word it kept, and all the stuff I looked at is like the whole show was just one giant farce. Like,
yeah.
And I agree. Like, I really enjoyed watching the show while Elliot, my son, had his headphones on watching Paw Patrol on his tablet, and I really wanted to watch another one, but he made me play with him instead. So. I know. Oh my god.
I mean, we were watching Three's Company at that age, so I don't know why he wouldn't watch Three's Company.
Because if he aired in 1977, we were not watching it time, right? Because I wasn't even born until 1981.
Yeah, I think we watched most of these shows in syndication because we would have been in bed when they were on prime time, right? So we watched them in the afternoon after school, or like evenings when mom and dad were doing whatever mom and dad were doing, and we were being raised by television.
What were they doing? I know we're not allowed to talk about mom.
Well, we only had one TV, so this is a good question. I don't know what they were doing because I feel like what Dad did was watch TV. Maybe we watched this stuff with Dad. I don't know. We watched a lot of stuff, and that's how I saw Poltergeist. So I don't know, and some other stuff we can get into later. But
okay. So the interesting thing about this show, right? So it airs in 1977, and like you go through the first episode, and there's a lot of but like, so the biggest thing is that ultimately, hopefully I'm not spoiling this. So if you haven't watched it and you want to go watch it, stop listening now. But ultimately, because the Ropers are like, this guy can't live with you. And the only reason they want him to live with them is because he's a really good cook.
Right, which I love.
Yeah. They can't cook.
He's hot and he can cook.
Which, like, he's hot? Like, I'm just like, really? Like, that's what 1977 hot man is? Because I mean, he's an okay looking dude, but like,
I'm sorry, did you watch the Dukes of Hazzard? Did you see all those dudes on that show who weren't John Schneider?
Well, I mean, yeah, but like John Schneider compared to Jack Ritter or John Ritter, like, come on, like,
but it's fine. He's got charm. He's got that charm too.
No, he's super charming, but I feel like
Can I tell you?
What?
Can I tell you who I was picking up on watching the John Ritter?
Huh.
Ryan Reynolds.
I think he kind of was
really feeling like Ryan Reynolds might have watched more Three's Company than we did. Like if it was syndicated in Canada, I feel like he might have ripped off some John Ritter, some of that comedy, some of that
John
physical
Ritter
styling.
Canadian?
I don't know.
John Ritter was Canadian.
You're just making that up. You don't know.
So the only reason that Mr. Roper and Mrs. Roper were okay with him being their roommate is because Janet ultimately tells them that he's gay.
Yeah.
And they're like fine with this.
Yeah.
Like
in 1977.
Yeah. 1977. That it's like these old people. So like, I don't know, what are they, like 60? So they're born in like the 1910s. And they're like, oh, you're a gay man? Cool. Fine, let me pinch your fucking cheek. And it's all gravy. The fuck? Like, how is that happening in 1977? And like, that was okay. So then I'm like looking for like, what was the backlash? And like, what? And like, some people called it a sexually perverted show. Like, of course, sure. But like, it had amazing ratings from like day one. Right? And like maybe they never mentioned it again.
I think too, what have you got? You've got a guy who's very charming, but from the start, he's immediately objectifying Chrissy, like immediately,
Yeah.
and then treating Janet as this like sexless entity that just happens to be there. So I think, again, but also we know that culture moves that way, right? Like we make 5 steps forwards and then we go like 10 steps back, and then we have to like claw our way back forward again, and we just do it over and over and over again. And nobody seems to remember that, like, they didn't care that, around, not long after this, there was another roommate show where like there were 2 guys who dressed up as women so that they could live in an all women building because they couldn't afford to live anywhere else.
Totally going to be the next episode, by the way. I've already decided I want to watch that because I fucking love that show. But yeah, I mean, granted, okay, yes, they're in California, they're living on Santa Monica Beach. But yeah, so love the song. Definitely so much like objectification of women. So I think both of these shows, like how we haven't talked about the influence they probably had on like our own personal feelings about our bodies and like our identities as women. Or as in,
I remember very much identifying very much with Janet, and I don't think I felt bad about that. Like, I like Janet. I did write down boobjectification. I mean, that is something I wrote down. Because it's there. It's very much there. And also, honestly, I will tell you, I was a little bit disappointed that there was no Regal Beagle, because I know that's where his sleazy friend always hung out. It was like sleazy friend was there to make John Ritter seem like he wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because sleazy friend was so just disgusting and misogynistic. And
I do love that it's like such the Betty Veronica trope, right? Like, although but then it's like kind of backwards too, right? Now that I think about it, because Veronica was like the dark-haired one that was super sexy, but like that blonde. And I feel like I remember Chrissy being dumber. Like, I don't know if that character got dumber in later episodes.
I think once Suzanne Summers was in, it was way, way, way dumbed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's clearly for comedy.
Suzanne Summers in the first episode?
Wait, what?
Was that Suzanne Summers that we watched in the first episode today?
I don't think so. No. Was it? I honestly can't remember. Maybe it was.
I read that like she wasn't originally in it. They got her the last minute, but now I don't know.
No, it might have been her, because I was thinking about the Thigh Master while I watched it. So that
okay. So that brings me to the point. So like she left the show. There's 2 other blondes later on. The reason she left the show is because when her contract came renewed, she demanded a 500% raise. She wanted $150,000 an episode, which would have been a 500, and they were like, "We'll give you 30," and she said no. So they fired her.
Wow.
So then I was like, yeah, but then she made all that Thigh Master money, so. And do you know how much she made on the Thigh Master?
Why would I know that?
I don't know.
Please enlighten me, dear sister.
$300 million, she says she made from the Thigh Master. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. We had one. That was a thing.
We did.
Mom bought one.
I remember.
And now might be a good time to talk about how mom felt about us watching Three's Company.
She said she hated the show. She told me she hated the show, but we liked it. Yeah. And she was just like, Chrissy was just so stupid. She was just so stupid.
She said that she would watch it and try to make us look at it critically, right? And be like, why do you think that Janet acts like this, but Chrissy acts like this? And we were like, we're 5.
She's never once in my life asked me to look at anything critically. The woman who we had to explain what heteronormative was asking us to like do some critical analysis of Three's Company when we were 5. That's such bullshit.
She said she did, but I will tell you she bought a Thigh Master, so I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like, honestly, maybe at that time it really did stick in our heads, because I mean, we definitely didn't like become feminists. Like, we just kind of always were, right? Like, I don't think there was ever a time where we were like, yeah, it's cool that women don't have the same stuff men have. Like, we never, ever felt that, And I think definitely I know that you had a lot more of like the body image stuff from all of this media than I ever had, for sure. Um, and that sucks, and I'm really sorry. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, it's not like watching either of these shows. Like, where are honestly, none of the people are good people that you want to be like. So, I feel like that's one thing, but like, the women aren't cool, right? Like Bo and Luke are cool, and Jack is funny, and it's like Janet's kind of smart,
Snarky.
and
Yeah, she's kind of
Chrissy's
snarky.
pretty,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of depth, but also it's freaking like TV in the 80s. Like, what was it gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what I was looking for.
So
And
much
I'm
of it.
sorry, I don't care. I realize that yes, it was sexist and homophobic and misogynistic and everything else, but hands down, John Ritter is good and Three's Company is funny. It is.
Yes,
like
totally. Like, I will rewatch that.
Yeah, like the whole married couple hating each other thing, like that can go. Like, I will let that go. But the physical comedy and I mean some of the one-liners and stuff are very funny. And
like him coming in and thinking that woman is the man.
Yeah.
That horse-faced woman. He's like, yes. Oh, I'm from New England. They call me. What was her name? Paddykins. My friends call me Paddykins.
Right.
And he's like,
they were like Patricia.
Yeah. Yeah, that like situational mix-up comedy. Yeah. Like which like every show was like.
Yes.
Every episode.
And a lot of them continue to be. I mean, you can't get away with poking people in the boobs, but
he didn't even say please.
I know, that was what I found most curious about that whole situation there? They like immediately decided that she was too talkative. She didn't talk that much. Like, they just both decided real fast, like, this bitch talks too much. Like, no, thank you. I was like, okay. I feel like maybe they had to cut it for time. Like, maybe she was a little more talkative, but unlike the Dukes of Hazzard, which is a show about car chases, this show moves. Like, it's fast. The comedy goes. It's quick. And, it is worthy of the amount of time that it took. You clearly, again, these are like stock characters, and you know what you're going to get over and over, and you're not going to get deep thoughts. But I was less embarrassed of wasting all that time watching Three's Company than I was wasting all that time watching Dukes of Hazzard. All right. So, my friend, thank you. I think that was pretty good,
It wasn't terrible.
Thank you for listening. That is it for this episode of I Love You, but join us next week when we discuss adventures in babysitting. For now, we want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram at I Love You But Pod. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes? Tell us on social, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Heather, and
I'm Ryan. We send you lots of conditional love.